بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran al-Durran, the jewels of the Quran and its pairs. In the last session, we were able to cover almost halfway between the first selection of Imam Al-Ghazali selected from the verses of Surah Taha and the second selection, the first one ending with verse 17. The next selection will begin with verse 72. So we are halfway. We said that we would stop with the Farah's question to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when the Farah asked, "Who then is the Lord of you too, O Moses?" قال فمن ربكما يا موسى. This is after the Musa alayhi salam did face the Farah, and of course they talk about the Farah. I mean, someone who declared himself God, and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam wanted to liberate the children of Israel from the bondage in Egypt, to stop this senseless killing of the children. The Pharaoh killed the children of the Israelites. I'm sorry that I cannot help but remember that it seems that they did not learn really from their own history, and it is the Palestinian children, that babies, women, elderly, and others, who are being systematically killed. There's a serious, it's a very serious, not only the acts, not only the war crimes, the genocide, but the problem also is that this has theological also roots. They have to deal with it. Smashing the babies against the rocks in the Book of Psalms or whatever biblical narrative that they have. So we continue. The first answer that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, the answer that he came up with, of course, the conversation will continue with the Pharaoh, the debate, the dialogue. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam said, قال ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. He answered, our Lord is the one who has given everything its خلقه, its the way it is created. We'll speak about the several interpretations, and there is no contradiction between these several interpretations, as I will inshallah demonstrate. So everything has its distinctive as an understanding, form, function, then guided it. Okay. It means also that the Pharaoh himself could not create anything despite claiming divinity. So the interpretation, قال رب الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. We have two interpretations attributed to Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنهما, and there is no contradiction. The first one, خلق لكل شيء زوجة. So it's by design that all the creatures will have its mate, its spouse, its male, female, male and female. So it's by design, and the more we talk about it, you will understand what I'm aiming at. The second interpretation attributed to Ibn Abbas, he said, he created the human being a human being, the donkey a donkey, and the goat a goat. It's by design. It's divine will. خلق الإنسان إنسانا والحمار حمارا والشاة شاة. As for Mujahid, he interpreted this verse, أعطى كل شيء خلقه, he said صورته, its form, the way it is by design, its divine will. Mujahid, we talk about, if it's not really Ibn Abbas, we talk about second generation Muslim scholars. Mujahid, again, a different narrative. سوى خلق أو خلق كل دابة, the way it is, because we have another mention of the khuluq. So either or, it's what it is, no changes. Lions are predators, gazelles are herbivorous. Sa'id bin Jubair said about this verse, each creature has its own, what befits that creature in terms of behavior. So human being does not have that of animals, and animals do not have that. Dabba, you talk about, for example, horses, and the dabba does not share the character of the dog, and the dog does not share the character of the goat. Yes. Some others said long text, but the very last phrase was جبل الخليقة على ما أراد. جبل في الجبلة, not جبل as a mountain. That's a noun. Jabal, we talk about past tense here. He created the creatures as he, subhanahu wa ta'ala, willed, the will of God. يقول ربنا الذي خلق الخلق وقدر القدر وجبل الخليقة على ما أراد. So I hope that this is very clear now that I'm saying there is no evolution. There's no evolution. That's absolutely it's refutable. There has to be a creator. Why would Earth? Because there's a coming verse. I would say verse. For example, verse 55. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. From the earth, we have created you, and to it you will return, and then we'll resurrect you. Once more. أي من الأرض مبدأكم فإن أباكم آدم مخلوق من تراب من أديم الأرض. من أديم الأرض, from earth. How could earth that has dust, that has no will, could become this wonderful human being with organs, each talk about billions of cells, the brain itself having at least 86 billion neurons. It does not make sense. Talking about the theory of evolution, it does not make sense at all. How could lifeless earth give life? Physics becoming biology. Something without life, without bio, make something alive on its own, when we know that it does not have a will and cannot act Pretty much like the uh, logic of idol worshippers who worship a piece of stone thinking that it will benefit or harm when it cannot really help itself at any rate. So this is about the قال ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. Our Lord is the one who has given everything its distinctive form and guided it. You talk about this guidance, this كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى, is the human, for example, in the case of human beings, the human genome, the DNA, all these sophisticated things. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the Pharaoh asked, and what about previous peoples? Meaning that those who did not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, everything is in a book. قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى. He replied, Sayyidina Musa salam, that knowledge is with my Lord in a record. My Lord neither falters nor forgets anything. We do forget, and in fact it's a ni'mah. It's really a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we forget. Not everything. But if our brains do not really delete continuously the irrelevant things, and maybe even sometimes relevant things, but the idea is that we cannot really keep all this information, and especially today, it becomes a problem to keep taking in information without digesting, without being selective, without being eclectic, without having an objective, simply loading sometimes silly stuff into our brains. Loading. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not falter, does not forget, does not get tired, nothing is like unto him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the idea of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resting on the seventh day is problematic. If it's really to teach humanity to take time out to ponder the universe, to worship, there are other ways rather than claiming that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rested on the seventh day, that He created the universe in 6 days and He rested on the seventh. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Sayyidina Musa continues, الذي جعلكم الأرض مهدا وسلك لكم فيها سبلا وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به أزواجا من نبات شتى. He is the one who has laid out the earth for you, all of you, and set in it pathways for you, and sends down rain from the sky, causing various types of plants to grow. كلوا وارعوا أنعامكم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى. So eat and graze your cattle. Part of this, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, we can consume, and there are other things that we cannot. Surely in this are signs of people of sound judgment. Then verse 55. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها خرجكم تارة أخرى. From the earth we created you, and into it we will return you, and from it we will bring you back again. This is our home. This is our home. I am surprised. Sometimes I do watch and listen to people like Richard Dawkins, for example. There was an interview with him about the possibility of parallel universe in which there is an earth like ours and people like us. And the thing is, you talk about a scientist who did not follow the scientific methodology. There is, we know very well, there is no proof of a parallel universe, and the vivid description of life on a planet like Earth, and that people look like us, and pseudo science at best. It's not science, just simply. Um, it's interesting, like Greek mythology. It's interesting. منها خلقناكم. From the earth we created you, and into it we will return you, and from it we will bring you back again. What benefit? I'm not against science. To the contrary, Islam is not against science. To the contrary, we have thrived as a civilization scientifically. It was Jean-Jacques Rousseau said in a letter to the Academy of Dijon around 1776, but at any rate, he said that Europe was living in a state worse than ignorance, dark state, worse than ignorance. Unfortunately, he did mention the ones who helped Europe get out of its ignorance, of its dark ages. It was the Muslims, but he did not say it just simply as plain as I did. Unfortunately, he said it was the help came from the least expected quarters. It was the stupid Muslim. So rather than that's just like the metaphorically biting the hand that was extended to Europe. My introduction, whatever I said about science, science is compatible with Islamic worldview if it's really science per se. What benefit do we get from sending people to live on Mars? Isn't it better if we spend all this money on improving life on Earth, fighting disease, pollution, uh, realizing that these geopolitical constructs are man made, that we should recognize human being qua human being, not as black and white and north and south and east and west, and improving really life on Earth. How many people can you send? How many people can you send? If you send 8 people, that's 1 in a billion. One can speak about the harsh conditions on Mars, but this is not the time really. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the earth He laid out the earth for all. Mahdan, mihadan in a reading. In a same earth, the same earth became human beings, the same earth became giraffes, the same earth became redwood trees, the same earth became butterflies and honeybees, same earth became fig trees and plums and oranges and roses and jasmine and lavender, and same earth, same water. I will continue to be mesmerized, to be fascinated about the wonders in the universe. And every time I remember something like this, inshallah, I will say Subhanallah, to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of this. So after showing the Pharaoh all the signs, he denied the signs, refused to believe, rejected. ولقد أريناه آياتنا كلها فكذب وأبى. And we certainly showed Pharaoh all of our signs, but he denied them and refused to believe. Then he said, the Pharaoh, قال جئتنا تخرجنا من أرضنا بسحرك يا موسى. Now we talk about ad hominem fallacies, attack. No prophet was ever accepted with open arms. So now he's being accused of being a magician. He said, have you come to drive us out of our land with your magic, O Moses? فنأتينك بسحر مثله فاجعل بيننا وبينك موعدا لا نخلفه نحن ولا أنت مكانا سوى. We can surely meet you with similar magic. So set for us an appointment that neither of us will fail to keep in a central place, of course, public. And Sayyidina Musa chose the day of the festival, it's their feast, so that as many people would watch what will take place. Of course, he was sure that with the Azawajal, that their magic will become apparent as magic, and his is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the prophets, the miracles take place at the hand of the prophet, not because of his own will or power. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is omnipotent, who wills that these miracles take place. So it's the day of the festival, and let the people be gathered mid-morning, duha, after sunrise and before noon. قال موعدكم يوم الزينة وأن يحشر الناس ضحى فتولى فرعون فجمع كيده ثم أتى. So the Pharaoh then withdrew, orchestrated his scheme, then returned like on the appointed on the day of Zina, the festival day. قال موسى ويلكم لا تفتروا على الله كذبا فسحتكم بعذاب وقد خاب من افترى. Moses warned the magicians, woe to you, do not fabricate a lie against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or he will wipe you out with a torment. Whoever fabricates lies is bound to fail. And they know that their magic is nothing. فتنازعوا أمرهم بينهم وأسروا النجوى. So the magicians disputed the matter among themselves, conversing privately. They wanted to convince themselves because they wanted the prize or the reward. They wanted to be closer. The more magic you produce, the closer you are to the Pharaoh. Imagine all those who are creating schemes today, who are very close to this, to whatever authority, east and west, north and south, against immigrants, against Muslims, against the blacks, against the colored. It's still magic, not exactly the same. There are prime ministers who keep getting more and more magic out of their hats. But it became apparent, like it became apparent with the case of the magicians of the Pharaoh. قالوا إن هذان لساحران يريدان أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما ويذهبا بطريقتكم المثلى. They concluded, these two are only magicians, meaning that we can win over. Our magic will be better than their magic. That's the idea. So these two are only magicians who want to drive you out of your land with their magic, and do away with your most cherished traditions. فأجمعوا كيدكم ثم أتوا صفا وقد أفلح اليوم من استعلى. It could be that this is the talk of the Pharaoh, encouraging them. So orchestrate your plan, then come forward in ranks. ثم أتوا صفا, almost like on the battlefield, marching in perfect ranks and lines, and whoever prevails today will certainly be successful. Successful, it means within their own worldview, but even that much is not possible anymore. قالوا يا موسى إما أن تلقي وإما أن نكون أول من ألقى. They said, O Moses, either you cast or let us be the first to cast. He said, قال بل ألقوا فإذا حبالهم عصي يخيل إليه من سحرهم أنها تسعى. Moses responded, no, you go first. And suddenly their ropes and staffs appeared to him by their magic to be slithering. Appears, I would highlight يخيل إليه. يخيل إليه. That's exactly what magicians do. فأوجس في نفسي خيفة موسى. So Moses concealed the fear within himself. قلنا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed him, لا تخف, do not fear. إنك أنت الأعلى. It is certainly you who will prevail. You will win. وألق ما في يمينك تلقف ما صنعوا إنما صنعوا كيد ساحر ولا يفلح الساحر حيث أتى. Cast what is in your right hand, but not say even the staff, and it will swallow up what they have made. For what they have made is no more than a magic trick, and magicians can never succeed wherever they go. And this is exactly what happened. Knowing we spoke about this in previous sessions, when we have such a event, the Quran does not say, and Prophet Moses threw the staff and it went basically and swallowed each of their magic. Talqaf is quick. Let's say quick swallowing, let's say. So no more magic. They cannot retrieve their magic. It will not go back from, like it appears, the ropes appear to have become moving snakes or whatever. They are not there anymore. And the magicians now they realize that this is not what Prophet Muhammad Musa alayhi salam did was not magic. They knew that this is a sign, this is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فألقي السحرة سجدا قالوا آمنا برب هارون وموسى. So the magicians fell down in prostration, declaring, we believe in the Lord of Aaron and Moses. And as if the problem is that the magicians became believers without the permission of the Pharaoh. This is why he said, قال آمنتم له قبل أن آذن لكم. Pharaoh threatened, how dare you believe in him before I give you permission? Of course, you cannot. If you are in a totalitarian regime, a despot, a dictator, a human being who declared himself God, you cannot basically breathe without his permission. How dare you believe in him before I give you permission? إنه لكبيركم الذي علمكم السحر. Now he lumps everyone together, the Pharaoh. He accuses them. He must be your master who taught you magic. I will certainly cut off your hands and feet on opposite sides. فلأقطعن أيديكم وأرجلكم من خلاف ولأصلبنكم في جذوع النخل, and crucify you on the trunks of palm trees. وَلَتَعْلَمُنَّ أَيُّنَا أَشَدُّ عَذَابًا وَأَبْقَى. You will really see whose punishment is more severe and more lasting. But they became already believers, truly, sincerely. Nothing could sway them from their position. No return to magic tricks and the old ways of the Pharaoh. قالوا لن نؤثرك على ما جاءنا من البينات والذي فطرنا فاقض ما أنت قاض إنما تقضي هذه الحياة الدنيا. And this is really the very first selection, the very first verse of the second selection. They responded, by the one who created us, we will never prefer you over the clear proofs that have come to us, so do whatever you want. Your authority only covers the fleeting life of this world. And I think we need to go back to this selection, inshallah, right at the very beginning of the next session بإذن الله عز وجل. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.